Hey guys, welcome back. The title of the video is going to be Ivy League schools are protesting and demanding $20 from every U.S. citizen. Let me say that again. Ivy League schools are protesting and demanding $20 from every U.S. citizen. So, most of the content I do on this channel is more of, self-help, wealth building, motivation, positive vibes. And I do a few vlogs here and there. But I think from time to time, it's okay to speak our mind and our opinions on what we see in the world. And that's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to do in this video. So recently in the news, we've heard that Donald Trump is freezing federal funds for grants for the Ivy League schools. And they're protesting at these universities due to that freeze of federal grant money. Now, I looked this up to see what the Ivy League schools are getting from the government, the taxpayers, every year. And according to an article I just read on News Nation, in 2023, the top 8 Ivy League schools received $6 billion in federal grants and funding from the taxpayers. $6 billion, guys. If we do the math, what that equates to for 350 million U.S. citizens is around $17 a person. I figured for sake of argument, let's just go to $20 a person because I'm sure they're asking in 2025 for more than $6 billion these days. Okay? So $20 a person, think about that. For a family of 4, that's $80. Now, $80 doesn't get us very far these days, but that could feed a family of 4 for, I don't know, maybe 2 days. 2 days worth, guys. That could feed a family of 4. And they are there protesting at these Ivy League schools for their money, for maybe R&D, for a bunch of people to write a bunch of papers, on history or medicine, whatever it may be. And at the same time, at these universities, they're sitting on billions of dollars in endowments, alumni money, all sorts of money that comes their way throughout the years. Harvard alone is sitting on $50 billion in endowments. That means that if they're invested in treasury bonds today, they're making around $2.5 billion every year on the taxpayer. $2.5 billion. And they're asking for more. They want to make another $2.2 billion, according to CNN, this year. That's what Donald Trump is freezing. When they're making $2.5 billion in endowment interest alone. Isn't that sad? Okay? So these protests that they want this money, whether it's over DEI or whatever it is, it doesn't matter what it's over. The point is that they're collecting taxpayer dollar for private universities, okay, that are sitting on $50 billion. Let me ask you guys this question. Where were these protesters when the big 3 and all the suppliers along the Rust Belt, Pennsylvania, Ohio, Indiana, Michigan, maybe Wisconsin, Illinois, when all these suppliers and big 3 automakers left and outsourced all the work to Mexico and Canada? Where were the protesters from those Ivy League schools over the last 20 to 30 years? Nowhere in sight. You know where they were? You know where those protesters were? They were graduates of those Ivy League schools that became financial consultants and accountants. And they were advising the big 3 auto companies and all the suppliers to outsource to places like Juarez, Mexico, and places like Canada, and maybe countries like China to build all the furniture, right? North Carolina, you guys know all about that, right? This is why Donald Trump won the election in 2016 and again in 2024. This is exactly why. Because all these people are protesting the wrong things. They should have been protesting all the outsourcing of all the jobs over the last 30 years. Where were those protests? I grew up in Michigan and I've seen all of this. I've seen the manufacturing plants in Michigan that are basically pavement now. It's a big concrete pavement. It's a parking lot with weeds growing through it. Or all the blight that we've seen throughout our cities in Cleveland, Detroit, Michigan, Pontiac, Saginaw. The list goes on and on. I'm sure I'm missing plenty of them in the Rust Belt, or all the cities in North Carolina, or all the towns where all that furniture was built. I wonder who consulted with all those companies to say, hey, you should go outsource to China, or you should go outsource to Bangladesh. It was probably the graduates of Harvard, Princeton, whatever else, all those Ivy League schools that we paid with taxpayer dollars $6 billion in 2023, which is $20 a person if you do the math approximately, right? That could feed a family of 4 for 2 days. That is the problem we are having in our country. People are protesting the wrong things. Those universities do not need any federal dollars for anything. These are the wealthiest people in the world that send their children to Harvard, Princeton, Yale, etc., etc. They can afford to spend another, whatever, $20,000 to build up their $2.2 billion federal funding for grants. They can afford that. So let's protest them to raise their dollars for Harvard. Protest the right people. Don't protest the taxpayers who need the $20 to feed their families. You guys get it? And to be honest, I kind of think this is what Donald Trump should do. Again, I didn't vote for Donald Trump, but here's what I think he should do. He should make a nice rebate check, send it out to every taxpayer for $20 and say, this is for the 8 Ivy League schools. Go buy your lunch. Right? Or go feed your family. Go to the grocery store with this money. You guys get the point? And maybe for every silly thing that we've been paying tax dollars for, that's what they need to do. That's what that Doge dividend was really all about. They should just do it for every single thing they save money on. Because it's ridiculous. And, you know, all the R&D that these Ivy League schools do, whether it's for cancer or treatments or whatever, do you think that most people who lose their health insurance get access to those type of treatments? They don't. And that is what people in the Midwest are fed up about. That is why a person like Donald Trump will win the election. Okay? And that's why somebody else in the next 4 years will win an election who gets it, who gets the problem of where things are going. All right? We should not be spending $6 billion annually on 8 Ivy League schools. $20 a person, guys. That's what it equates to. I know, normally I don't do these type of videos. I don't get fired up that much. I mean, I get a little fired up here and there, a little political, but I think from time to time it's okay to get a little annoyed by what we see in the world and be able to express our feelings on whatever channel you have. So that's what I'm doing in this video. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I know this might, you know, ruffle some feathers. Who knows? Maybe I'll lose a subscriber or two. I hope not. But hopefully you guys can understand where I'm coming from. It's frustrating to see that people are protesting so they want more money from taxpayers when taxpayers are struggling just to get by in inflation these days. We should not have to be spending $20 a person to go to Harvard and Yale and Princeton and whatever else. So let me know in the comments below what you guys think. You know, am I on the right track here? Or am I completely off base? You know, should we keep spending $6 billion to the Ivy League schools? Let me know in the comments below. And anyways, thanks for coming and watching the video. And hopefully you guys have a great day. Take a look at my previous video. And thanks, guys. Bye.